Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video, we're going to look at Solstafir's newest album, which is called not Svartir Sandar, it's called Berdreyminn. So that's coming up. So as you might have already guessed, I am a fan of one of their previous albums, which is called Svartir Sandar. That was something that really got me into the band in the first place back in 2011. For you guys who aren't familiar with Solstafir from before, a little bit of background story. They are an Icelandic post-metal, post-rock, psychedelic metal band. It was formed back in 1995, and as of now, they released 6 full-length albums. I really loved Svartir Sandar. It was a very ambitious album. It featured a lot of different sounds. They went from songs that were very direct, very riff-based, very punchy, to other songs that were more atmospheric and airy. And I kind of liked that flow and that stark contrast from one song to another. They also had some concept songs. I don't know if the album is a concept album, but at least they had some deeper songs in there. There was this one song, can't remember the name, but it was basically a sample of this Icelandic weather report, and then you can hear the band surging and slowly building in momentum, kind of emulating and imagining themselves as being this storm coming in. And it's really fantastic to hear this. So if you haven't listened to these guys before, check out Svartir Sandar. But now over to this album, Berdreyminn. It was released through the label Season of the Mist, and I can't really say that I like this album at all. It was actually quite, how can I put it? It was quite a chore. It was quite a chore to listen to this album, and the reason why that is because I feel like the band is going for a whole new sound here. They're going for this more atmospheric orchestral sound, which is kind of nice. I like the fact that bands try to explore new things, but they just made it very lengthy and they made it very repetitive at times in this album, and they tried to make it overly epic and lofty. Silfur-Refur is the first song, and this is actually a song that I found to be one of the more positive songs on the album, as of actually being a better listening experience. It starts with this slow, gloomy, and dark soundscape that later on erupts into a more intensive one. All of a sudden, it just explodes into this really loud soundscape that alternates these instrumental parts and other parts, I guess verses, where the vocalist is giving and delivering these very harsh and clean vocals. There's this organ in the background of the second verse, which I actually liked a lot. It was a nice alternation in the instrumental lineup, and there's also this drony guitar during the third bridge, which just melted so nicely together into the whole sound image, just like a chocolate would melt on your tongue almost. Yeah, I know it's a weird comparison, but that's what it felt like. The band plays around with dynamics on the song. There's some really loud moments, there's some very calm moments, some moments are surging, others are very surprising and stark. And I actually really like the song because of the dynamics, the variety that you can find here. Ísafold is their second song off of this album, and it is very, very soft compared to their earlier works. It is very soft. I was so surprised when I listened to this album. I thought that it might be a mix of something heavy, something dark, and something light. And you know, this album is very dark and gloomy and depressive. It has these undertones, but it's not filled and it's not created with very heavy, distorted instruments. It's very light in terms of the instrumental elements here. The song features a spacious guitar, a simple beat, and there's also a very down-to-earth and also simplistic melody going on here. The mood is depressive, but it's curious in a way. You feel like it is going to lead you to something different. I love the bass transition in the middle of the song. For some reason, it reminded me of Tool for some reason. But yeah, that was really cool. It came out of the blue and it was like, whoa, yeah, I dig this. So yeah, this song was very surprising and very open in terms of the landscape of sounds. Track number 4 is called Náros. I'm not sure how to pronounce these names. It follows the same weightless psychedelic pattern that was featured in the previous songs on the album. And that is one of the really, really negative things about this album. Whenever you're introduced to a new song, I feel like it just follows up on what they did previously on the album. There's a big lack of innovation here. There's a lot of weightless soundscapes, there's a lot of orchestral sounds, there's some choirs even in the sounds, organs, and they want to create this epic, lofty sound that balances this depressive, dark, ominous mood with light orchestration. The thing is that this can actually work. It's a great idea, but they overuse it. They exaggerate it in many of the songs, just like this one. Náros is a song that surges forward. It is very repetitive and you need some patience when listening to this because there's a lot of repetition of the same melody over and over. At 2:55 into the song, the whole soundscape rapidly, like out of the blue, completely randomly changes into a much more intensive and, yeah, attacking soundscape. There's a rapid tempo, the guitars are heavily distorted, and the whole song just takes off. I would love to say that this is a positive turn, but it is more of a left turn. It feels so oddball, so weird to suddenly hear that this song changes so quickly in terms of the rhythm, the output of sound and noise and everything, that, I don't know, it just feels weird and random and not planned in a way. Bláfjall is the 8th track. It's the final track off of this album, and it starts with this organ and synth. Again, starting off with these angelic, orchestral, otherworldly instruments that create this very ambient and atmospheric sound image. There's a thumping rhythm, there's a piercing guitar loop, and the quality and the innovation that they put into this was actually coming through to me. The vocal performance also felt a bit more visceral and emotive in a way. It was quite incredible to listen to. But again, what lacks with this song and with so many of the other tracks on this album is that it has such a slow progression. It's sludging forward in this incredibly slow speed. And it's also so repetible. Like the melody is very predictable in a way. And I can't say that I'm looking forward to listening more to the songs. It's like I'm putting them on and, well, here I am. You sit there and wait 5 minutes for the next interesting alteration of a guitar riff, and when you get there, it's like, oh, shit. So this is it. I think that Solstafir, just as a conclusion to this album, I think they wanted to go for a bit more of an ethereal, epic, lofty, and a bigger sound that they could use for bigger audiences and bigger venues. And that's great. I think it's great that the band is trying out new things and experimenting. This album kind of reminds me a little bit of, this is a completely different genre and a completely different sound and different band. But it reminds me of the newest record from the Afghan Wigs. They actually tried to do something of the similar effort. They wanted to mix rock with more orchestral and more of an alternative sound. Pianos, acoustic elements, organs, and violins mixed in with this rock sound, just like Solstafir is doing here. And again, it didn't work that well for them either. I think that in order to experiment in the way that they're doing, they really need a lot of knowledge. They need a lot of, how can I put it? They need to know what other elements they need to include into their music in order to make it sound more cohesive and more interesting and enticing for the listener. So if they had mixed together some other elements in here, maybe they would have ended up sounding a little bit better. Maybe if they were more dynamic, more maybe if they had music that shifted easily from one part to another, that would be better. But that's just my personal theory, and music is very subjective at the end of the day, so maybe it's just me who didn't enjoy this music, and maybe you'll think it's a masterpiece. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this album a 3 out of 10. It's an album that I'm probably not gonna listen to ever again. Maybe if I check out their discography, I'll give it another spin, but it's gonna be very, very rare. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked this review. If you like to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the red subscribe button below. Also, make sure to hit that bell icon beside the subscribe button. In that way, you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to this beautiful place right here. And yeah, hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.